So hey all, well unfortunately, as you've seen in one of my previous videos, I haven't exactly been having the best week. Now, some of that I guess is mental issues, bad habits, and just life. But I'm gonna see what I can do about turning that around because I know some of that is, so not all of it, but some of it's in my control. So I'm gonna see what I can do about controlling the tendencies that tend to derail me. But we will see. So, unfortunately, I don't have anything to announce like I was hoping to because a lot of things have kind of sidetracked me. But I will say, insofar as writing news, that I have been trying to go through the process, which of course is a lot because I have a lot of notes of all, so many unfinished ideas. That basically I'm trying to convert them all into the plotting software that I use, which I'm hoping will help eventually get me organized and keep me straight and maybe be more consistent. Because a lot of, one of the issues is that I kind of get, I guess, overwhelmed with the scope of some of the larger projects in particular, and even some of the smaller ones. It just, I know part of it is just the way I organize and plan for things. It hasn't really been super smooth. But I've come up with some realizations that I think have gotten in the way of making life a little bit more complicated than it needs to be. So, we'll see. I'm working on it. But I can say, insofar as video news, that work is progressing reasonably steadily, that I am producing a lot of book reviews for videos, some in the fandoms, some commercially available. Well, they're all commercially available, but I think you know what I mean. Mass market, stuff like Star Trek and Firefly. Like I was reading Section 31 Disavowed, which was a really good book about Dr. Bashir and Section 31 team on a mission in the Mirror Universe, and Firefly Carnival, which was a pretty good story that was basically one big long chapter, and I'll talk about that in my review whenever that comes out, because I work long time in advance, so it'll be a while. But at least on the plus side, I've gotten into a pattern where I seem to be able to steadily produce video reviews, so I'm going to try and keep that up because, part of the difficulty I usually have with creative things is finding a rhythm that I can sustainably produce, that makes it, makes me happy, makes me eager to do it, makes it not feel like a chore, doesn't overwhelm me, all that stuff. And with videos, I've been able to do that, and I'm looking to that as one of the positives that I can do it with other stuff, so I'm working on it. But right now, I'm reading Section 31 Control, which is the follow-up to Disavowed, and it basically kind of covers the revelation and or exposure of Section 31 to the universe at large and the background behind the organization's formation. And this is all stuff that, I had never seen before because I had missed a lot of these books. And what I've been doing in the meantime, as I await Star Trek Picard's next book in September, I think actually by the same author that I've been reading lately, with some other stuff. But anyway, it's I have until September to try and read some of these books because I want to try and catch up by then. Of course, it's been difficult because I keep finding more books that I missed that I want to read. But I have been reading. I'm reading Control now. I'm about halfway through it. I'm reading Signal by Renee Carter Hall, who is one of the better furry fandom authors. If you haven't read her work, I highly recommend it. I've done some written reviews in the past for some of her pieces, and I know she's written by Sword and Star, which was a good book. I'm forgetting Huntress. Yeah, Huntress. I think it was Huntress was another one that I read that was really good. Signal, of course, is new to me. It's a pocket shot from goal, which I'm reading because of Pascal. Bug. Okay, and let's see. But so far it's good. It's short, which is nice because I could use a break. A short piece, something short to read. So I'm going to read these two and review them, and then move on to the next one in my queue. And at least for now, anyway, I'm trying not to add any more to the pile than I already have, because one of the things that sucks the fun out of a lot of stuff that I do is when I feel overwhelmed, and that's part of some of the problem with some of the writing that I work on, because I have a lot of big projects that have taken on different forms over the years, most of which are unfinished because I've either run into a problem, had a panic freak out, or something else that has stopped me somewhere along the way. Some of these I've gotten pretty far along and then had to start it over, and as a result I have a lot of different versions of the story, a lot of different notes, and a lot of different things, and in some ways it's resulted in some better ideas coming out that I didn't have before, but I'm working on trying to get all that under control so that I have one version of each project and I can just kind of focus. So that's part of what I've been trying to do. And I also can say that I'm trying to develop a better system to work on short stories and other supplementary projects, because I don't want to work on just one project, but I also don't want to work on too many projects at once. I need to kind of be better focused about my short stories and be better focused about what I'm working on and how long it takes and all that other kind of stuff. I mean, I got to start small so that I can get some consistency, because I was doing pretty well when I was in the flow in like February, but then I kind of, as it seems like it often happens, I hit a speed bump, and getting back into the rhythm is always hard. But I have a lot of books on the to be read pile, some of which I'm partially started, but I'm trying to focus. There's one book I'm reading that I've had a hard time getting through a little bit. I feel bad saying this because it's like it's I guess it's difficult for me to access it. I mean, I don't want to critique the author's work at all, because it's not necessarily a quality issue that I would say. It's just more like getting my brain to, I guess, interface with it, because it kind of seems like it's hard for a lot of the information to just kind of make sense, or be smooth in the input. I don't know. I'm sure I'm saying it terribly, but anyway, I will keep working on it, and I will try to tackle it a couple more times and see if I can make my way through it, because it's very rare that I will drop a book without finishing it, even if it's not my cup of tea. It's like there's some, I mean, yeah, everybody's got a learning curve and all that, and I don't want to. Yeah, I mean, there are bad books. There are people that have no idea what they're doing, and this is not necessarily that in this case, but it's just like, generally I try and give everybody the benefit of the doubt if their book has caught me enough that I wanted to read it in the first place. Most of the time it pays off. Sometimes, I mean, hey, maybe it's just not my cup of tea, but we'll see. We'll give it a try, and I'm got a pretty good lineup for at least the next. I have 3 or 4 more Star Trek books I want to try and read before September. I have a couple of furry books that are on my pile. Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking. I'm still working on Signal. I have Red Vixen Adventures from Royce Day that I have to look at. And let's see, there was also that one. Still trying to read Always Grey in Winter. And I have, I think there might be something else on the pile too. I don't remember. But anyway, ideally I would like to try and get it back to the point where, well, it's like lately I seem to be doing well about keeping up with reading 2 books at the same time. And ideally I would like my queue to be not too much larger than 4 titles, because apparently I've discovered, and I don't know if anybody knew this already, but there's a word for when you collect books that you don't read. And I'm trying to avoid doing that, because I like reading. I have a lot of books on my shelf. I have a lot of books on my Kindle. It's like I started buying Kindle books so that I would not have to have so much shelf space for books that I usually only have time to read once. But that being said, it's not that I don't appreciate all these books, and I really do, love reading and trying to tell stories and all that other stuff. But it's just, ideally, to keep me the happiest, I need to feel on top of things and not super overwhelmed by a bunch of things that I have to get done. So that's the best way to keep me happy and productive, which in the long run will turn out to be a good thing. But basically what it boils down to is that right now I have enough books that I'm trying not to add too many more to the pile, and I would like to at some point get caught up and then just kind of, as new windows open, fill them with other things, because there's always going to be another thing. But anyway, I can also mention that my new microphone came in, which I haven't had a chance to mess with, but this is a suggestion from Crimson. Monitorable podcast USB microphone kit. I have not had the chance to really assemble it. Apparently, it's got a couple of pieces together, and because somewhere along the line, I had the radical idea that I might actually try maybe narrating for the Voice of Dog podcast at some point, and give that a try towards putting some more of myself out there, and we'll see. I have a mounting arm for my webcam, which I used to use when it was over here, but now I think I think I originally put it on top of the monitor when I started doing the web chats with some of the Star Trek actors, because I wanted the camera to sort of be straight on, and it used to be over here. And I guess some of you that might have seen my older stuff, I used to kind of just put the backdrop to the side of me, turn the camera, and then just kind of have an angled view. And maybe this is a less exciting camera angle, or I guess I could. Well, I don't know. I don't. Yeah. But anyway, let's see. Okay, now that we are 2 months out, I can also mention that we are planning on going to Star Trek Las Vegas, and after the year I've had so far, I could definitely use it. We have our guest list more or less finalized. I'm kind of just waiting to see if anybody else is added to the roster that we really need to either do or redo. I'm hoping that this year that masks and photos is not a big deal. I'm hoping that they don't, COVID is under control enough so that nobody feels the need to do that. At least not in the photos, because although it's okay, and I have learned some things from our attempt last year, it's like smile even in a photo where you're wearing a mask, because you can tell. You can tell from your eyes. And but still, we'll do what we can. I mean, I appreciate the trip anyway, and it's one of those things I want to keep doing for the foreseeable future. So, there's that. But we'll get into, I guess, more detail when I'm more in the mind of discussing con plans in terms of specifics. But in general, I'll just say that that we're 2 months out, and probably when we get a little bit closer, maybe another vlog or two, I will outline exactly what we're going on, maybe in a feature video that just talks specifically about that. And let's see. I guess that's it for now, so I will catch you all later.
Thanks for watching. If you liked it, click the subscribe button and leave a comment below. See you next time.